And one thing that when I was with the group, I came up and worked with the group December, January. So first question, any feedback there? But one of the clear things was Pacific excellence and how that message just keep coming across. How's that been driven into the team, and how often do you talk about Pacific excellence?
Constantly. It's been largely driven by Tana. He's done a marvellous job at focusing on the excellence of those that have gone before us. I mean, not just in rugby too, it's across Pacifica in general. And we get people to come in and speak to the boys around any area that we can get our hands on, actually. And there's been some awesome role models get up in front of our group and just tell their stories.
We had examples that have been
Savage come in and speak to the boys around his time in the UK, in the USA. That was a pretty awe-inspiring moment for the boys. You know, most of them listened to his music, and he's a big fan. And having him in the room with us was pretty special. We had David Tua come and speak to the boys about his time as an athlete leaving the islands to come to New Zealand for a better opportunity. And there's been plenty. Those stories funnel into Tana's message around excellence. You know, we are a sports team. We're obviously driven largely by Pacific Island rugby players, and we provide an opportunity for these boys to display excellence. And that's exactly what we're trying to do, not only with what we do on the field, but as you've already mentioned, the work that we do off the field as well is just as important. So we're in the community in the North Shore.
Yeah,
the boys do that really gracefully. I'm always pleasantly surprised by how keen they are to get out into the community and give back. And that's a big part of what these boys do. They're about family, they're about community, giving back, being humble, being respectful. They do that really well. And it just ties into Tana's message. And most of the men that we've had speak to the group are Pacific Island people that have gone on and done great things, but they still remain humble and true to their faith and to their culture, which is cool.
Has there been any clear messages from the speakers around risk-taking, stepping out of the comfort zone, hard work? Has there been any sort of clear messaging coming across from those speakers?
Yeah, I think David was pretty influential in talking about that. You know, at the end of his message to us, it was about winning. You know, you go through the hard work, you go through the sacrifices to leave your family behind, to go to a training environment which is going to get the best out of you. But at the end of the day, he made it quite clear that everything you do is about being better, but also winning. And that's why we play sport. And I think that's the key. You know, everything you do is about being successful, and that winning edge that is created by exuding those professional habits on and off the field. Results eventually come. Sometimes it takes a while, and I think that message has been clear right from the start. You know, you got Tana up there speaking of his own story around his rise to becoming the All Black captain. You know, that's crucial. Those messages are crucial, and you got a role model who's modelling it every day.
I've been extremely impressed with Tana, and I've seen an extremely level person in every piece of media that I've seen across the season. What's your experience been?
Exactly. The vision that he brought into the team right from the start has been really clear and calculated. He wants to win just as much as anyone, but I think he returns to the big picture whenever we have a hiccup, whenever we don't perform to our best. He's quick to reset us, to remember that we're playing this for the long term. You know, rugby results come and go. You're going to win and lose. You can't define who you are just on the base of that. So his messaging around excellence and preparing every single day, getting yourself out of bed, resetting yourself, understanding we got one on the nose, we have to go again. Those messages have been really clear, and led by a really good leadership group within our team. We've got some very, very influential young men who lead this team well, and they back up his messages. So there's no grey. It's pretty clear.